Hello, boys and girls. It's your self-proclaimed favorite maths teacher, Miss Aliyah Brewster. It's time for us to do grade 5 mathematics. And just in case you're not feeling motivated, remember the words of Paul Halmos: the only way to learn mathematics is to do mathematics. So what are you waiting for? Grab a pencil and a notebook, get settled, because it's time for us to start. Are you ready? Because I'm ready. Let's begin. Today's topic, boys and girls, is how to study for a math test. Come on, let's dive in. Before we begin, I'm going to recite a poem that was written by Sharia Katyal. The name of this poem is Maths a Challenge. Try, try, and try. The more I try, the more I cry. I practice maths with all my heart and soul, yet I'm not able to achieve my goal. I never get marks in math. In spite of my great endeavors, fate is never in my favor. I really want to improve my math because I love this subject, and for this, I'm trying my level best. I am candid, so I confess. In mathematics examination, I always create a mess. All the answers I guess, and ultimately the marks are quite less. I believe if I do ample practice, I'll one day probably achieve my goal. And I seriously have to improve because math plays a significant role. Okay, boys and girls, I hope you would have enjoyed that poem. I know the tone of it might sound a little depressing, but I want you to listen to the final words of that poem. It says, and seriously, I have to improve because math plays a significant role. I know there are times when we may find certain topics in mathematics to be difficult, but I want you to remember, mathematics is important. And here are some reasons why math is important. First of all, it's good for your brain. Why? Because when you do mathematics, you're often given problems in which you have to solve. And from constantly solving problems and working examples, your brain is actually exercising. And the more you exercise your brain, is the smarter you'll get. Another reason why maths is important, it helps you to tell the time. A simple skill of telling the time is so important. Let's say, for example, someone told you to meet them at Pizza Hut for free pizza at 3 p.m. If you do not know how to tell the time, how will you know when to meet them and to get your free pizza? Another reason why mathematics is so important, it helps you to understand money. We all like to spend money, but if we do not properly understand money, for example, if we don't know how much change we need to collect when we purchase something, we can get robbed. Another reason why math is important, it makes you a better cook. Yes, maths can actually help you to become a better cook. Why? Let's look at the topic measurement. In maths, we learn how to measure things. We learn how to measure the amount of flour, water, sugar, rice, and whatever we may need to cook a meal. Now, if you do not understand measurement, how can you properly cook a food? You see why maths is important? Another reason you should really make an effort to learn maths is that you need to know maths to get any job. That's right. When you grow up, boys and girls, whether you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher like myself, an engineer, or whatever it is you may want to do, you need maths. If not, you probably won't be able to get a job. And if you do get a job, you won't be able to do it properly. Another reason why maths is so important, it can make you more popular. Yes, we all want to be more popular. How can it make you more popular, you ask? Here's the secret. Let's say you understand fractions and you're invited to a party. And at this party, there's pizzas. But nobody at the party does not know how to divide the pizza. And you know because you're familiar with fraction. So you can say, hey, I can divide the pizza. And you divide that pizza and it impresses your friends. So maths can make you popular. My final reason as to why maths is so important is that maths is all around us. Indeed, maths is all around us. If I go into a store and I see a sign that says 50% off, if I don't know maths, then I won't be able to realize that 50% off means that I would get a discount on my favorite dress. Maths is all around us, we cannot escape it. With that being said, let's dive into how we can improve our maths grades. When you're studying for a math test, you want to work smarter, not harder. Therefore, there are some things you want to avoid when you're getting ready for a maths exam. Number 1, don't wait until the last minute to study for your test. If you do that, you would be cramming, and cramming does not work in the long run. However, if you study little by little each day, you will remember more and you will remember that information for a longer period of time. Look at the pictures. The first picture there, the guy, he's trying to hold on to the clock or to stop time. Often when we're cramming, if we're cramming the night before the exam, there's no way we can stop time so that we can have more time to study. The time would just keep going, and before you know it, you're tired. And you won't be able to remember anything that you would have studied. So cramming is definitely not an option. I prefer it if you would study each day, and over time, everything that you would have studied, you will remember. Number 2, don't just read. Simply reading over notes or reading the notes in a textbook is just not enough to comprehend mathematics. You need to actively engage with the work. What does that mean? It means you have to practice. Remember the quote, practice makes perfect. So if you don't practice, then you won't be comfortable and you won't be confident going into your exam. Number 3, when you, as students, participate in the learning process, whether it be through practice, review, or discussion, learning is promoted and cultivated. But you can't rely on your instructor or your teacher to teach you everything. Simply participating in class can build your confidence and can help you remember information. So the next time you're in a Zoom class with your teacher or you're in the classroom, try your very best to participate in the discussion and to complete all activities that were given. Look at the picture. The first picture, we have a young woman. She's throwing a basketball into a hoop, but it did not land in the hoop and she's sad. The second picture, we see that she's practicing and she threw the ball into the hoop and it went through. And then the third picture, we see the girl at a game and she threw the ball into the hoop and it went in. Now, based on that picture, what do you think the message is? I'll give you a second. Boys and girls, the message is practice makes perfect. Sometimes when we try to do something, we may not get it right then, but if we keep at it, if we keep practicing it, we will perfect it. So I want to encourage you, even though you may not understand something in mathematics, if you keep practicing and working at it, you'll get better. Now let's examine another way in which you can prepare for a maths test. By examining this picture, Here we have a student and she has books on her table, but behind the book, you would notice there's a study timetable. Now, many times we often forsake study timetable, but let me tell you, a study timetable can be very beneficial. If you can ask your parents for help too with this. You just state on Monday, I'm going to recite the properties of a triangle. On Tuesday, I'm going to do geometry. On Wednesday, I'll do polygons. On Thursday, I'll have a study group with my friends online. Now, a study group helps you to keep track on how often you are studying, and it helps to keep you accountable. You can always go back to your study timetable and say, look, on Monday I'm supposed to study this, and you'll do it. So creating a study timetable can also help you to prepare for a mathematics test. Remember, boys and girls, slow and steady really does win the race. When you study little by little each day, your brain is able to observe the information better, and you are more likely to remember and recall what you would have studied. Let's take a look at this other photograph. This photograph helps us to understand another fundamental idea that can help us when we're studying for a math test. Here we have a young man, and if you notice, he has some candies on his table while he's studying. Boys and girls, when you study, you need to reward yourself. Rewarding yourself will actually motivate you to keep studying. How do we do this? We can follow a step-by-step guide. First, we choose a task or we choose a topic. Then, we set a timer. Perhaps we can spend 25 minutes studying that topic. And during that 25 minutes, no distraction. That means no tablet, no television, no video game, no phone. You just take time and focus on that topic for that 25 minutes. When the 25 minutes is over, reward yourself with something, whether it be Jolly Ranchers, or in my case, I reward myself with chocolate. Whatever it is that you like, you take about 5 minutes, you reward yourself, you enjoy your reward, and then you start the process all over again. Pick a topic, study 5 minutes, complete it, reward yourself. That simple step-by-step guide can truly help you when you're studying for a math test. Another important criteria, boys and girls, is that our environment can actually affect our study time. That's right. If you look closely at the pictures, on one side, we have a young man with his cell phone in his hands. He's eating a bag of chips. The book is in front of him, but is he really paying attention to what he's reading? No, he's not. He's paying attention to his phone. While the other picture is showing us a boy who is focused. There's no distraction, no cell phone, no video game, no chips. He's just focusing on his studies. Based on those two pictures, boys and girls, we can see that our environment truly plays an active role when we're studying. So if you want to make the best of your study time, put aside the video games, put aside the tablet and the phone, and really settle down. Make sure you're in a quiet atmosphere and focus on your studies. And trust me, you will learn. Also, boys and girls, when studying for a math test, you have to remember the facts. Facts meaning formulas and vocabulary terms. When we were looking at area, we learned that the area for a rectangle is length times breadth. Those various facts are very important and you must remember them because you see, boys and girls, if you know the formula, it would be easier for you to calculate and work. Also, when you're studying, pay attention to vocabulary terms such as sum, product, subtract, multiply. All those various terms have different meaning. For example, if you're asked to find the product of 3 and 4, you need to know what product means. If you don't know what the word product means, you can't get the marks because you can't answer the question. So that's why it's very important for us to remember those vocabulary terms. And for the record, product means to multiply. So in that case, the product of 3 and 4 would be 12. Based on the photograph, we see one student is saying, yes, the factors of 51 are 3 and 17. While the other student is saying 51, is that a prime number? You see, if you do not recall what factor is, how can you properly answer that question? So it's very important, boys and girls, when you're studying, pay attention to formulas and the vocabulary terms. Another important point to note, boys and girls, is that you should not allow yourself to be stereotyped into only one learning style. Or you shouldn't feel bad if after your teacher would have discussed something and you don't understand. Don't beat yourself up and say, I'm not smart enough. I don't get it. I'm not intelligent as John or Mary. Because perhaps the reason why you did not understand the topic is because that topic is a little difficult for you, or the method that was used to explain the topic for you maybe wasn't the right one. You see, boys and girls, we learn in various ways, each of us. Some of us, boys and girls, we learn through visuals. Visuals are diagrams, maths, and charts. From looking at things, looking at pictures, it helps us to remember and recall information more accurately. While others learn from oral discussions, such as stories, or listening to a poem, or singing a song. While others learn through verbal interaction, that is talking, reading, writing. And then finally, some of us learn from hands-on activity, where we can do practical work. So boys and girls, don't feel bad if you do not understand a topic on the first try. Perhaps you need to look at a picture or a video or even memorize a poem, and that will help you to better understand the topic you're learning. Finally, boys and girls, studying for a math test takes courage and tenacity. It takes grit. What is grit? Grit means give it your all. Redo if necessary. Ignore giving up. And take time to do it right. Let's say that again. Grit means give it your all, or give it your best shot. R, redo if necessary. And I, ignore giving up. That means giving up is just not an option. You have to keep pressing forward. And T, take time to do it right. That has brought us to the end of our lesson, boys and girls. But before I go, I want you to recite something with me. Stand, place your hands across your chest as if you're saying the pledge, and repeat after me. I am enough. I am smart. I am well-abled. And I can do all things once I put my mind to it. There is nothing that is too hard for me. I can achieve all my dreams if I work hard enough for it. Thank you, boys and girls, for reciting that with me. I have to go now, but before I go, remember the words of Paul Halmos. The only way to learn mathematics is to do mathematics. So remember to practice. Thank you once again for tuning in, boys and girls, and goodbye.